What's going on, everybody, and welcome to round one of our fourth annual March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition, where I take 8 bourbons that I've collected over the past year, all single barrels, and put them head-to-head blind in a single elimination bracket to see who is the champion of the March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition. Now, we have had some great champions in the past. We've had Jack Daniel's Coy Hill, we've had a Russell's Reserve already, and we've got 2 Russell's Reserve going head-to-head tonight. Let's get the bracket so you guys can see what you're looking at. This is the full style bracket that we're looking at. We have Russell's Reserve CNA versus CNB, which will be tonight. We have Michter's versus Fiddler's. We have the Stag versus the Old Forester, and the Blanton's versus the Nash Tucky. We're doing this in all of March. If you want to fill out a bracket, you're a little bit late, but come check out the Discord. That link in the description below. You can still win some great prizes this March. Patrons are going to have another opportunity to win some great prizes as well, some great perks if you do become a patron. That link in the description below as well. For as little as $3 a month, we've got glassware. You get first barrel pick opportunity, everything like that. So check out the Patreon page, check out the Discord. Both those links in the description below. But let's get CNA and CNB ready to pour up so we can see who wins this particular round. So I'm actually very excited that these two are going up against each other early. I didn't want these to be in like the championship round because they could very well easily both make it there, but I will say one of these is going to be out early, which I like. I think one of them is going to be better than the other. I haven't drank them side by side, so we're about to find out. I actually have a bunch of other Camp Nelson stuff, so I do plan to do a video of the best stuff coming out of Camp Nelson, but CNA versus CNB to kick things off here on our March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition is absolutely perfect. So if you don't know how this works, this glass has an A on the bottom, this glass has a B on the bottom. I cannot see that through this side. So what I do is I fill them both up to the same pour line. We will then mix them up. This has the A on it, this has the B on it. CNA has the A, CNB has the B. Once we mix them up, I don't know which one's which. We'll taste them, we'll try and pull out some notes, and we'll see which one we like better strictly off taste. So here we go, we'll get our spinner here, we'll spin these up, then we'll talk about these 2 bottles as we sip on them and see who's gonna win. Let's go. Trust me, I don't know which one's which at this point. All right, so let's get into it. This isn't going to take very long. We're going to drink both of these. We're going to talk about these bottles as we go, and we're going to find out which one we like better strictly on taste. Time for the traditional sip. Cheers, y'all. I mean, I'm the real winner here. These are both going to be delicious. Oh my God, that one is just so freaking good. I mean, both of these are going to be very good. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell them apart at all, to be quite honest with you. We're going to be like picking hairs. Is that what it's called? We're going to be picking, I don't even know what the saying is, but we're going to be splitting hairs. We're going to be picking hairs. Who says that kind of stuff? Let's talk about this bottle over here, though. This is CNA, distilled in 05-13 of 2013. This is 9 years old. Dumped on 112 of 23, bottled on 131 of 23, and barrel number 22-0093, warehouse, as you know, CNA, floor 4, selected by Total Wine and More. If that's this glass is very, very good. Congrats to you, Total Wine. One of these is also this bottle over here, which is CNB. This is distilled 05-02 of 13. So we're not that far off. 05-13 of 13. 05-02 of 13. Stored in oak barrels for 10 years. Dumped 05-02 of 23. Barreled 06-05 of 23. And barrel number 22-1045. Warehouse, as you know, CNB, floor 5, selected by nobody, but checked by Eddie and approved by Jimmy. Well, they both are, so let's get into this glass over here. I'm not going to do a lot of editing from here on out. I want you to kind of see my facial expressions, see how much I'm thinking about each one of these glasses. Off the rip, no clue. One, I'm not going to be able to tell which one's which, obviously. I think some of the things that people say about this particular series is when you have Stag Jr. going up against Old Forester, we're going to be able to, it's not even Stag Jr., it's just regular Stag, going up against Old Forester, you're going to know which one's which, and then you still have bias, but there's no way to truly blind a Stag versus an Old Forester. You're going to be able to tell that one's 136 proof and one's 100 proof. It's just, I mean, what else are you going to do? So you'll also notice I stare off into the distance a lot. That means I'm thinking. Both of these obviously coming in at 110 proof, as it says on here. Single barrel, non-chilled filtered, which if you don't know what that is, check out some of my other videos talking about non-chilled filtered. Does it make a difference to me? I don't really know. I will say, this one seems a smidge hotter. Neither of them would be 110 proof if I blinded these not knowing the proof. I wouldn't say in my mind that they were 110 proof. I wouldn't put it far off though, right? They're not like crazy under their proof. I might think it's like a 107 or something like that, but not crazy off 110. Definitely not over 110. I would never say over 110. I also know you might be thinking something like you got to drink water in between each one of these sips or else they're just going to blend together. And that doesn't really happen for me. I feel like if I don't clear my palate out, clearing my palate out doesn't hurt me, but at the end of the day, if I drink one and then I drink the other right afterwards, I feel like I start to pick up a little bit more of the differences, especially with something that's as nuanced as this, right? There's not going to be a crazy lot of difference. So if I sip one and then I sip the next one and I get more spice or I get more sweetness, then I can kind of distinguish that on the palate. This one, I mean, it's pretty noticeable at this point that this one drinks easier. The question is how much easier, and it's not by much. So I'm not too mad about the proof on either one of these. Nosing wise, I mean, I'm getting better at nosing, but there's a lot more sweetness on this for this particular glass than there is on this one. This one, it's crazy. So it sips easier as far as proof goes, but it noses a little bit hotter. So the ethanol does hit you on your nose a little bit more, but on the palate a little bit less. This one seems a lot sweeter on the nose, which I like. I like the nose on this better, but this isn't a nosing competition. It's a tasting competition. I mean, this one's starting to sip easier as well. This is a very, very, very close race. I don't know, like, I don't know what I'm going to say about one that I truly love over the other one. I think that barrel date being so close together as well, distilled in 05 of 13, 05 of 13, 9 years old. So this was dumped in 1 of 23, and this was dumped in 5 of 23. We're talking 4 months difference, right? I mean, these are very close when it comes to everything. Floor 5 versus floor 4 and C&B versus CNA. I mean, does it really make a difference? Are people out here, there's like, I know, like Rare Bird and that kind of stuff, but he can probably pull these out. There's no way that if you gave me both of these, then I would be able to tell you a very vast difference. This one over here, a little bit more viscous, a little bit thicker. Not crazy different, but I do notice a bit more of a mouthfeel experience with this glass over here versus this one. There's nothing wrong with either one of these bottles. Again, I have to get into the very nuanced, very small details when it comes to these. I don't want anybody to think, oh, he picked this one, that means this bottle's trash and this bottle's good, or vice versa. I'm telling you this off the rip. All of these bottles that we have are going to be fantastic. I have to find the little things in these glasses. This one, so far, sips a little bit easier. The mouthfeel is a little bit better, but flavor-wise, as far as the amount and the length of the actual flavor profile, I feel like I got to give that one to this. So experience, I feel like I'm enjoying this one better. Mouthfeel, and I don't want to say mouthfeel. So mouthfeel I'm giving to this one, but like the flavors, like I'm getting more flavors on more parts of my tongue. It's very different and yet very similar all at the same time. I'll tell you this, quintessential Wild Turkey, you get your vanillas, you get that toffee note on this, you get the caramels, a little bit more rye spice over here, which I think is what I'm picking up on that I keep saying mouthfeel, but that taste. The taste kind of encapsulates the full mouth, while this one over here gives the viscosity, the thickness of the actual glass in there. But these are both so good. We're going to finish these up, and I think I've kept you long enough. We're going to call it. I don't know if I can, but we're going to try. One sip, everybody knows the rules. It's not thin. It's not thin. It's not watered down. It's not. But compared to this glass over here, flavor-wise, as far as like the complexity, very, very close. Again, I can't stress that enough. But this one's giving me more when it comes to more flavors, more rye spice, more vanillas, more caramels. Viscosity, mouthfeel, love it. Not as hot to drink, love that as well. Experience-wise, if I were to sip on something, this is the experience that I want. Taste-wise, though, one more. Taste-wise, though, I think I'm going to give it to this glass. So here's the deal. This sip's easier than this one. It's not a lot. It's minuscule at best. So I'm not going to call it off of anything when it comes to proof because they're the same proof. They both drink very similarly. Flavor-wise, taste-wise, I'm giving it to this glass. Mouthfeel and experience-wise, I'm giving it to this glass. I don't know what to tell you. That's where I'm going to put you. I think that this glass is going to be our winner, and I don't know which one's which. Is it the 10-year because that extra 4 months in the barrel is really doing a lot for you? But I'm excited to see who moves on. We've got A over here. We've got B over here. CNA is obviously A. CNB is obviously B. Let's find out. We just go straight to the winner, right? No reason to wait. And the answer is B. CNB is going to be our winner and moving on, which is surprising. I honestly thought it was going to be CNA before I ever started this. So CNB moving on is why we do it blind. So C&B will be taking on either Michter's or my Fiddler pick with the Bourbon Judge and the Bourbon Van. That's going to be another great matchup. Obviously, moving on to the other side of the board here, Stag versus Old Forester. You guys are probably already guessing that Stag's going to win, but we've got to pour them up. Maybe it's too hot. Maybe Old Forester brings out some notes that I wasn't expecting. Don't count Old Forester out. And then, of course, Blanton's Gold versus Nash Tucky, picked by Stuff and Whiskey, Josh and Aaron. So that should be another fun one. I really do enjoy Blanton's Gold a lot. I haven't had that Nash Tucky in a long time. So we're going to find out who moves on with those three. We're going to find out who's taking on CNB against this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button. And in the meantime, I already told you about Patreon and Discord, both those links in the description below. Check me out on Instagram as well. We're pushing almost 13,000 followers on Instagram. Absolutely wild. I appreciate you guys as always. We're going to keep things rolling here in March. Always, don't drink and drive. Please drink responsibly. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay doing March Madness. Cheers, y'all.